work out this time.
And in my head, I was just thinking, okay, this has to work out. I really want this condo now. And I just felt like I had this rock in my throat. Like I had a very, very heavy feeling, and we all were just silent for a moment on the phone. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this video is part of a series where I and my husband go on a hunt to find a condo for under $500,000 in the GTA. And in case you want to know where all of this started, then you can check out this playlist up here. In the last episode, we viewed this gorgeous condo here. It's on the west end of Toronto, just a 30-minute TTC ride or car drive away from downtown, listed in the low 400,000s. It's 400 plus square feet, large or small if you will, or about 40 square meters. It's a studio that could potentially be partitioned into a one-bedroom. Both of us were looking for a condo just like this one, and we decided to put an offer on it. But will it work out this time, or will we be outbid by the competition again? For the sales of this property, there was going to be an offer night where bidding may take place. But hold on, you might say, what's offer night and bidding? Why is there going to be bidding? From what I know, when you're going to buy a property, you're going to negotiate the price down, right? So you're telling me that the price might go up instead? Don't worry, we're going to talk about all of that in this video. So what's offer night anyway? Offer night in real estate is the evening which all interested buyers come forward and submit their best offers to the sellers and their representative, potentially leading to what is known as a bidding war. As described on dwelly.ca, for the past few years, it hasn't been uncommon to see homes selling for hundreds of thousands over asking price in the greater Toronto area. Why? Because of offer night tactic, which usually involves listing a home for sale at a price point below market value to attract more potential buyers, then have them bring in their best offers on the same day, bidding against one another until the best offer gets the prize, the home. In some instances, properties can receive over 20 offers on their offer night. And our offer night was going to be on the coming Saturday at 2 p.m., which, as we heard from our real estate agent, is a bit uncommon because offer nights tend to take place on weekdays in the evenings. Offer night, duh! By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this video so far and you found it useful, then please do let me know by hitting the like button. And while you're at it, please do let me know in the comments below where you are in your house hunting process at the moment. Are you looking for a house in the GTA? Are you still thinking about whether to continue renting or purchasing a house, or what else is on your mind when it comes to house buying? I would really love to know, so please leave those comments down below. Thank you. But anyway, offer night was only a few days away and we needed to start getting prepared. By Saturday 2 p.m., we would need to have submitted our offer in writing through our real estate agent to the seller's broker. One day before offer night on Friday, our real estate agent helped us to fill out a form called OREA 101, or the Agreement of Purchase and Sale, through which we would submit our official offer. And this form contains two important numbers. One is the offer amount, the amount that we bid for the property. And we decided to go in with our first offer of $467,500. But wait a minute, didn't you say in the beginning that this property was listed in the low 400s? Yes, that's correct. But we didn't even consider bidding anywhere close to the low 400s. And the reason was because that listing price in the low 400s wasn't really the real price. As we read before on dwelly.ca, it is just a tactic used by the seller to attract as many potential bidders as possible. And I know it sucks. Being the buyer, it puts you in a kind of difficult position, especially if you're not experienced in the real estate market here yet. But as long as you did your research and you consult with an experienced real estate agent, then you'll be able to get very close to what you can say is a fair or a decent market value of the property. So we basically did some market research online. We compared the unit we were about to put an offer on against other similar units in the GTA that had the similar size, were similar quality. We also looked at other condo units in the same condo building that were sold in the past months. And lastly, of course, we also consulted with our real estate agent to get his opinion on what the market value of this property might be. But just saying here, you can never really arrive at a full fully objective market value of the property because so many subjective factors go into that. But at least by doing so, you will be able to have a better idea of what that unit is worth, or at least will be worth to you. And after doing this research, we know for sure that the low 400s was definitely not a realistic price, and we didn't want to go into the bidding process just to lose out right from the start. So $467,500 was our initial offer. So that was the first very important number in the ORIA Form 101. And the second very important number in this form was our deposit, which was in our case $25,000. Wait, deposit, down payment, deposit, down payment, are these two the same? Now let's just briefly pause and do a quick detour to talk about the difference between a deposit and a down payment, because these two sound very, very similar, right? But they are different. Let's talk about the down payment first, which is very well described here on Canada.ca. A down payment is the amount of money you put towards the purchase of a home. Your lender deducts the down payment from the purchase price of your home. Your mortgage covers the rest of the price of the home. The minimum amount you need for your down payment depends on the purchase price of the home. If your down payment is less than 20% of the price of your home, you must purchase mortgage loan insurance. So how much money do you need to put down if you want to purchase the house? If the purchase price is less than $500,000, then you need a minimum of 5% of the purchase price. If it's between $500,000 and $999,999, then 5% for the first $500,000 and then 10% for the difference. So anything that's above $500,000, and if it's $1 million or above, then you will need to come up with 20% of the purchase price. But bear in mind, this is not absolute, of course. In our case, the property would be below $500,000, which would mean that we would need a down payment of 5%. But because my husband is permanently employed with a company, but I am self-employed, the mortgage lender required us to come up with a higher down payment. So our down payment is going to be 7% instead of 5%. So the down payment is a requirement of the mortgage lender. You need to come up with that amount so that the lender will provide you with the rest of the money that you need to purchase the home. So now what's a deposit? The deposit is the amount of money that you as the buyer pay to provide security to the seller. So by coming up with that deposit of, let's say, 5%, which is a very common percentage used, the seller will have a sense of security that you will not just put in an offer and not be serious about it and then just walk away and waste their time. By putting in that deposit, the seller knows that you are serious and that you are very likely to stick with the deal, to close the deal. Because who in their right mind would want to lose their deposit of 5%, right? So very often the seller would expect the buyer to come up with a deposit of 5%, but this is not always the case. It could be higher or it could be lower, but 5% is a very common number. So we went with 5%, assuming a maximum price of $500,000. Not that we would actually want to pay $500,000 for this unit, but as we were sure that the price of this condo would not go over $500,000, that was a safe assumption to make. So we multiplied 5% times 500,000, which amounted to $25,000. If the condo would sell for, let's say, $470,000 with a deposit of $25,000, that would put us well above 5%. So the offer letter, the ORIA 101, contained those two numbers: one, our offer price of $467,500, and two, our deposit of $25,000. But we did not just communicate to the seller's agent that our deposit was going to be 5%. No, we went one step further. And this was a tip that our real estate agent gave us. He told us that before offer night, we should go to our bank and prepare that bank draft. So a few days before, I think on a Wednesday, we went to our bank and had our bank issue us that bank draft of $25,000. But no, our real estate agent did not hand that bank draft over to our seller, or the seller's agent never ever do that, but instead he just took a photo of the bank draft and attached it to the first page of the offer letter. He said that you do not have to do that, that is totally your choice, but having that in place kind of makes your offer stronger. And I think that's something that's just very human. Imagine that there are 5 people bidding for your property and everyone is offering about the same price, but then you see one offer that actually has a bank draft, a photo of the bank draft already attached to the offer. You will feel much more certain that that person is actually already prepared, has the funds prepared, and is ready to close the deal. So in that sense, we kind of had an advantage, I think at least, because we don't know what the other bidders did, whether or not they attached a bank draft or not, but at least we did. But in one way, we were also at a disadvantage because as part of our offer, we included two conditions. One is the status certificate condition, and two, the financing condition, which means that we would only proceed with the purchase of this property if we can secure financing to our satisfaction, meaning that we get the financing that we want at the interest rates that we want and so on. So that might put us in a bit of a weaker situation. If other bidders do not have any conditions attached to their offer, then at a same offer price, the seller would likely go with those who do not have any conditions. But we just didn't want to take a risk, and we wanted to make sure that we had those two conditions in the offer letter. So we were all set now. And Saturday morning finally rolled along, and it was offer night or offer day. After having breakfast and chatting, we got in touch with our agent around 10-11 a.m. I think. And by the way, our real estate agent was being in touch with the seller's agent, so he kind of knew what was going on and how far along things were going. And the plan was to submit our offer close to 2 p.m. And it seems that everyone else was thinking the same. And our real estate agent actually confirmed that to us. He said that most people, most brokers would all put in their offers very close, sometimes even just 1 minute or a few seconds to closing of the offer night. Anyways, very close to 2, I think a quarter to 2 or so, offers started rolling in. And we got a text from our real estate agent who told us that there were 2 offers at that time. And immediately our heart rates went up. I mean, it was expected, of course, that someone else besides us would also wanted to put in an offer on this condo, right? But now everything was just becoming real. You see, at that time, we were already thinking that we really wanted to have this condo. And now 2 other people were coming in and putting in an offer. So it put us in a bit of a panic mode. But anyways, very close to 2 p.m., our real estate agent submitted our offer, the ORIA 101, to the seller's real estate agent on our behalf. So that was done. Our offer was submitted, and now all that we could do is basically just wait and see what happened, right? And shortly after, our real estate agent texted us again and told us that there were 2 more offers. So in addition to us, there were 4 offers. So there were 5 offers in total, 5 people in the bidding game. And that just made us a bit nervous, and a sense of competition was starting to build up. So now we just needed to wait and see how we did with our offer. Was our offer good enough, or did we lose out to others, or what's happening? And after about half an hour, which went by like ages, our agent finally called us and told us that unfortunately our offer wasn't high enough. I mean, those weren't his exact words, but basically he told us that someone else put in a higher offer than us, or even a few people. We don't know. But we had the opportunity to put in another offer. We had the chance to improve our price. And okay, we kind of expected this. We were prepared for this. And by the way, it's called a price improvement, where you improve your price that you offer. And this has to be done officially in written through the real estate agent. And this, I think, happened primarily because of the pandemic, is that you can now do everything through DocuSign. So on the day, we did not go to the property, we did not meet our agent, we just sat in the comfort of our home, and while having lunch, we chatted about what price we were going to offer next, and we finally arrived at a number that we communicated to our real estate agent. He then prepared that price improvement form for us, sent it to us via DocuSign, and then we signed it, we initialed it. And by the way, because I and my husband, we were both purchasing the home, both of us had to initial every time we submitted a price improvement. So that was done and sent out, and now again we had to wait. And although we didn't say it out loud, both of us, I and my husband, we just felt so anxious. We were a bit quiet, but these words were constantly running through my head. Will we get the condo? Will we not get the condo? Will it work out? Will it not? And so on. So this price, this new price, let's just call it price B that we just submitted, this was actually already our ideal price. So a few days back, when we discussed about what we wanted to pay for this condo, we agreed that okay, this would be the ideal price that we would want to pay, And at this price, we would feel that we would get a deal out of this. But as you will soon see, these thoughts are kind of in a fantasy world, and soon enough reality would catch up, because after about 15 to 20 minutes, our agent called us and told us that unfortunately we were still outbid by someone else. On one hand, yes, we still had the opportunity to counter offer, to put in another offer, because it seemed at least as though the other bidder's price was not too far apart from ours. So perhaps because of that, the seller wanted to give us another chance. But on the other hand, we were getting a bit anxious because we didn't know exactly how much to bid. As I told you, this was already our ideal price. So now we are already stepping outside of our comfort zone a bit, if you know what I mean. But yes, we still wanted to give it a try. You see, the problem or the challenge with this process, this whole bidding process, is that it's just not transparent. We might get some information from our agent through the seller's agent that yes, there is someone else who is also bidding, who has put in an offer, and they outbid us, but we do not have any idea by how much. So if we're not careful, we might just be throwing random numbers at the condo, which we absolutely didn't want to do. So again, I and my husband discussed, and this time the discussion felt a bit more tense because we were about to bid a bit more than we expected, but we really wanted to have this condo, and we also felt that even though we went up a couple of $1,000s more, it would still be a fair price. So in the end, we just went with that, and we submitted our second price improvement. And let's just call this price C. And guys, at this point, I know you might be wondering how much we actually bid and by how much we actually improved our offer. Before making this video, I thought long and hard about this, and I arrived at the conclusion. I made a conscious decision not to disclose any concrete numbers connected to this property purchasing process for privacy reasons, and I will talk more about that later. I hope that you guys understand this, and that nevertheless, me sharing the process of this bidding war will still help you, just in case you are going to buy your own property soon. Anyways, we submitted our price improvement to our agent, and this time we told him, okay, we're going to bid again, but this is our final price. And then again we waited, and this time it was just painful. In the beginning, when we started bidding, I and my husband, we were still very jolly, and we were chatting, talking, laughing, excited. But this time, the time we submitted our second price improvement, both of us were just quiet. We had our heads kind of down, and we didn't really look at each other. I knew each of us was just really anxious. And in my head, I was just thinking, okay, this has to work out. I really want this condo now. But then after 20 minutes, which really seemed like forever, finally our agent called us. We picked up the phone, and I was hoping so much for a positive outcome, but unfortunately again he told us that we lost out on the bid. The pitch of his tone was very low, and he sounded as disappointed as we were, and he said something like, yeah, I know this was your final offer. And I just felt like I had this rock in my throat, like I had a very, very heavy feeling, and we all were just silent for a moment on the phone. After those few moments of silence, I asked the real estate agent if we wanted to, could we still bid again or not, or was this a done deal? And fortunately, our agent said yes, we could put in another offer if we really wanted to. So we asked him for a few minutes, 5 minutes or so, because we wanted to discuss first, and we hung up. And immediately, I and my husband, we started discussing. We started to it was sort of a wake-up call, and we started to reassess the whole situation again. We started thinking about everything almost from scratch again. We tossed away our preconceived notions about what a property should cost, how much we want to pay, etc. And these were just some of our considerations. We looked at the pros. The pros were that the condo obviously met our expectations in terms of quality and location. It was only a 30-minute ride away from downtown, and it was so close to a subway station. It was so easy to get around from there. And the condo was developed by a very good developer. It was not a luxury condo, but it was among the very, very good developers in Toronto. And the unit was as good as new. The owner had owned the unit for a couple of years, but she had never rented it out to anyone, and it was maintained in a very, very good condition. The appliances looked brand new. Everything felt as though you were purchasing a brand new condo. And I absolutely loved those bright, huge windows. And everything just kind of clicked for us. But on the other hand, the price was higher than we expected, but this was the reality of the market. It has nothing to do with our own expectations. We can wish all we want for an ideal condo that costs only $430,000, but that's just not realistic in this day and age. The reality was that the price of these kinds of units in this category of this size was likely to go up, especially in the spring. And although so far we've only seen about 4 or 5 properties in person, we've scoured the internet, we looked at all possible properties in our price range, and we couldn't find anything else that was better. And calculating the price per square footage, we realized that even though we went up by a bit, it would still be a very reasonable price in this market nowadays. And of course, the most important point was that we could easily afford to pay more for this. We were in a position to pay more. It was just a matter of did we want to do it or not? So I guess you know the answer, guys. In the end, yes, we decided to go for a final round. And we submitted our price improvement number 3, or price D, if you will. And waiting for it, I really felt pale. I know you would normally say that you look pale, but if I would describe my feeling at that moment, I felt pale. I felt like my blood was draining because I was just so nervous about the outcome. It was just a roller coaster because at that moment I knew that, okay, I really, really want to have this condo. And this time we waited for about 15 minutes. And this was like the longest 15 minutes of my life. And finally the agent called us. And we picked up the phone and we heard his very bright voice, and somehow just in a millisecond I could already sense it, and he said, "You got it, congratulations." What? And we really couldn't believe it. We really couldn't believe that we got the unit, that we got the condo. We were like beyond happy. I just couldn't imagine that it worked out. So after 3 nerve-wracking bids, we finally got the condo. We paid a bit more than we expected, but it was still within our price range. And yes, after only about 4 weeks since I started this series on house hunting in the GTA, I bought a condo for under $500,000. So there you go. And now guys, you might understand even better why throughout this video I've been trying not to disclose any detailed information about the listing price, the bidding, and the final purchase price, because I just want to be on the safe side and avoid putting out any information that could be linked to my future home, because nowadays you can find anything on the internet, right? After the successful offer night, there were still so many things for us to do. So the next step after a successful offer night would be closing day. And that is usually around a month, but it could be longer. It could be 1.5 months or 2 months. It depends on what you work out with the seller. So in our case, it was 1 month. So we had 1 month to settle everything. And if you're not familiar with the term closing day is the day where you take legal possession of your home and get your keys and can call yourself the owner of your new home. But in the meantime, we needed to get the help of a lawyer to help us review the status certificate, which contains details about the building's finances, etc. And we also needed to regroup with our mortgage broker to see what other documents we needed to submit so that we could get our money from the mortgage lender and fulfill our financing condition. And we'll talk about all of that in the next episode. But in the meantime, if you're wondering about how to get a pre-approved mortgage and how it's like working with a mortgage broker, which I really recommend, then you can check out this video over here. And also guys, please let me know in the comments below where you are in your house hunting process. I would really love to know. As always, thank you so much for watching guys, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye. This is your first time here. Welcome back to